So in terms of technology, I first logged onto the Mac. I'd be using this throughout the production process, so it was important that I knew how to use it properly. Once I was logged on, I went straight to the internet where I would be using Blogger in order to complete my work. Blogger is a good program to use in this case because it keeps all of my work in one place and it's easily accessible. I also had Blogger on my phone, so I could then update my blog and complete my work in the comfort of my own home. Another program I used was SurveyMonkey. I created a questionnaire which I would use in order to get feedback from people on my opening sequence idea. This was very useful and easy to use. I had completed my questionnaire within about 30 minutes, which I thought was very efficient as I then had time to do other things. I created a word cloud using Wordle with all the words that describe my opening sequence. This was an effective exercise as I had ideas and themes which tied in with my opening sequence. YouTube was a useful resource as I could watch other opening sequences for inspiration and ideas on what I could do in my own opening sequence. After watching numerous opening sequences, I then made a PowerPoint on Scribe and embedded it into my blog on all the research I had done. To film the footage for my opening sequence, I would need to use a video camera. This is a quick and easy way to film the footage that I would need to put my opening sequence together. I also used a tripod during filming as it would keep the camera steady when I needed it to be. A tripod is a very useful piece of equipment because it makes footage look more professional. Once all the footage had been filmed, I then had to get it onto iMovie using a USB cable. This was helpful as it was the only way we could get the footage onto the Mac. Throughout the editing process, I'd be using Final Cut Express to put together all the footage in the order I wanted it in. This was a very long process and took many weeks to complete. When I finally had all the correct footage in the order I wanted it in, I began to create titles on a software called LiveType. This program was tricky to use as there were many different options I could choose from in order to create the perfect titles for my opening sequence. It took me a while to get used to the program, but I got there in the end and created simplistic titles using a good white font that connotes innocence and purity. After producing the titles for my opening sequence, it was then time to make the music for it. This was when I used GarageBand, which was a much easier program to use. I enjoyed making the music for my opening sequence, even though it was quite stressful. I had to make it synchronous to what was happening, and after making it into a proper track using iTunes, I was then ready to add it to my opening sequence and upload the finished product onto YouTube.